What's up, YouTubers? It's Ernie, Blerd Without Fear. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to be doing something a little special. In light of all the Disney, Fox deal, chicanery, all that was going on with that, and the possibility that, and I would even say more likelihood, I know there's some stuff going on out there in the woodworks, but I mean, I think it's still going to go down. Marvel is going to get their hands back on their hottest properties, and with that, that means you got to bring them in. You got to bring them back into the fold, got to introduce them into the MCU, and man, I don't know any better way to discuss this topic than getting a little help from your friends. I reached out across the YouTube multiverse and got a hold of my homeboy Devontae from Alternative Factuals. What's up, man?
What's up, y'all? What's up?
So, Devontae, we are going to be talking about how we're going to get these characters. How are we going to get the X-Men, the Fantastic Four? How are we going to bring them into the MCU?
Well, a lot like we discussed off mic, well, mic wasn't hot. We actually want to introduce them as if they were already there. So instead of doing like, you know, every other movie, let's restart and do a whole nother origin again. What I think we should absolutely do is follow a theory that I actually received and saw online that I was just like, okay, this makes the most sense. So we can pretend as if, you know, when Vision had the Mind Stone, that he found out that Xavier had wiped the memory of, like, you know, the mutants, and even I would say to some degree, you know, the Fantastic Four can be introduced the same way, but you know, the memory of the mutants were wiped away from the thoughts of the human race as a planet. That would definitely be a nice introduction, because then at that point you don't have to retell something that's been told already. You can just introduce these characters and these concepts in as if they were already there, and thus making a lot of the movies that we saw before canon. Logan can kind of be, you know, considered, I guess, canon, and all the other movies that were introduced in the X-Men series of movies would actually make sense and be canon, like what happened in terms of what was going on with their own personal issues. And it would make sense also because of the whole Sokovia Accords taking place. So it would actually make the most sense for them to be introduced in that way, especially if we're trying to transition into Secret Wars, which the Russo brothers confirmed, well, not confirmed, but they definitely did say they had interest in doing once the whole Fox and Marvel deal, Disney deal goes through.
Yeah, now, and kind of to piggyback on what you were talking about, because this is something I don't know how people feel about this, because I really haven't heard too many rumblings on my side of things, but I kind of am of the mind, yeah, keep some of that. I don't want to keep all of it because it gets a little muddy in some spots, but I think we should at least keep the stuff that we know everyone likes from these previous entries. Now, kind of talking about, you know, we want to bring these guys in seasoned. We want to make sure that, you know, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, they've been there. They've been there this whole time. We're not telling an origin story. And I think that Marvel's gotten really good with this, especially when you look at properties like Spider-Man, Black Panther, introduced in other movies and then brought in to their own movie at a later date. I think that is a formula that Marvel has proven actually works. And I think that, yeah, if you do this, if you want to bring all these characters in back into the fold, the best way to do it is going to be using Secret Wars as a platform.
Well, definitely I agree, because like I said, the whole premise of, you know, Secret Wars itself was the fact that, you know, the Beyonder came to Earth and then took different pieces of, you know, the Marvel universe and then brought them to this battle world in a distant galaxy, which would then not only bring back characters that we already know, like the Avengers, Spider-Man, and, you know, some villains that some people probably seen on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like Absorbing Man, but also it would allow them to simply introduce new characters that we haven't seen from the cosmic landscape, and, you know, as well as reiterate some faces that we probably haven't seen but technically have always been there, like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. And then it'll kind of put them in this situation where it's like, okay, it's fan service while at the same time it's the whole big reveal of the Marvel deal, where it's just like, okay, now we got these characters, now let's throw them into this situation, let's make this event happen so everyone can see what they're capable of, and then after that, let's have them, you know, take care of it. And eventually, once people realize that, okay, this is a legit thing, we'll get into the backstories or whatever we need to do later on, which is what they've been doing for their movies all along, in terms of, you know, bringing in new characters, exactly like you said. So I mean, like they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh no, correct. I would even go as far as to say that you're bringing in these characters the way we're talking about. I think that one of the key things that would really work in this situation is that you can kind of have the moments like what we had in Avengers Infinity War, where the Avengers are meeting the Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time. You know, how they don't initially trust each other. And even some of the other characters in the MCU that have never met before are kind of leery of one another. Like, dude, like, it's like, what's your deal? Like, Doctor Strange is like, dude, Stark, like, what's your, like, I don't get you. Like, are you really a human that does these things?
He was that way when before he became Sorcerer Supreme, which made it even more, that's the definition of irony.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like Mustache Bros is not quite a thing yet in the MCU. Like, we haven't quite gotten Mustache Bros. So I'm kind of waiting for that to finally, I'm kind of hoping they do have that little, you know, little bit in there. But I think one of the other things we kind of have to address too real quick is that Marvel is notoriously bad about killing off their villains, which is a major part of Secret Wars. But I think what can save that is the fact that we would be getting villains from both the X-Men and Fantastic Four franchises to bring in to kind of pad the ranks. Like, we know we still got Abomination, we know we still got Baron Zemo, he's still out there. We also know that Ultron's fate is left ambiguous, so he's probably maybe still out there. And we know Red Skull, spoilers for Avengers Infinity War, but Red Skull is also still out there somewhere. I would like to see them kind of get these other characters in here. Maybe, yeah, of course, you know, we definitely want to get Galactus in there. We want to get Doctor Doom in there. And honestly, I don't think you can really have a Secret Wars without either of those two characters. Spoilers for Black Panther, Claw is no longer with us. This would be an opportunity to bring that character back into the fold and maybe have him in his more traditional Claw persona. But and I would also like to see the Fantastic Four brought in once again, seasoned, possibly have been out amongst the stars in the multiverse, kind of like the way that we're gonna get Captain Marvel. The way Captain Marvel is teased as having been around in the 90s, an active superhero in the 90s, but just kind of went away, and we don't know where she's been. I kind of feel the Fantastic Four work better that way too, where they've just been out, you know, fixing the multiverse, fixing problems, discovering the mysteries of the galaxies, and just, oh wow, we've come back, and everything, the pooch has been screwed, as Tony Stark would say. And I feel like that would be a really good way. There's like a lot of opportunities for personalities to come together, which is, I think, one of the key benefits of Avengers Infinity War.
Definitely. But like you said like you don't know how like they would really introduce these villains, especially because they killed them all. I mean, even though Infinity War Part 2 is already in the works, I feel like that would be a prime opportunity for them to introduce and as well as bring back villains, because we don't really know to what extent is it possible for them to resurrect these villains, you know, involving the whole Thanos, you know, wiping out half the life in the universe, because it's very possible, we've seen it in comic books all the time, where an event like this is just a chance that they need to bring back characters that they never thought to or at least never planned to really bring back, just because people wanted to see them more. So I guess when they bring people back, like, you know, Black Panther, who was obviously a part of the finger snap and Spider-Man and all that stuff, they can actually bring back Killmonger, for example, and they can bring back Ulysses Claw, and they can bring back a lot of these characters that have been there already, and they can basically pull like the Brightest Day kind of thing with DC Comics, where after the Darkest Night they brought back the most popular characters from a massive event just so they can bring them back for another event, basically. So they definitely could do that, and it would, you know, like I said, be an ideal situation. Bring them back, bring them into Secret Wars, and then it would make sense. You know, everyone's been there already, and then nothing is off the table at that point, and it's still, you can have your cake and eat it too.
Ah, man, I love it. I love it. But I tell you what we're gonna do here, because there's just way too much awesome to unpack in all this. So what we're gonna do is, and much like Avengers Infinity War, yeah, we're gonna leave you on a little bit of a cliffhanger here. But don't worry, you will get to see part 2, and you don't have to wait until May 4th of 2019 to get it. We are going to give this to you on a separate channel. We're going to be giving this to you on the Alternative Factuals channel, and I'm going to let Devontae tell you why you should go over to his channel, check it out, and find out what's good over there.
I mean, if you like the buffer zone between comics and movies, if you like to make those kind of relationships, you know, like see how they relate, that's what we do at my channel. You know, we just chatted up about comic books, what they did wrong, what they did right, as well as TV shows, Marvel, DC, even Image Comics, because, you know, that's just what we do. We open the discussion floor. I want to hear what y'all want to say, and I want to hear those theories, because the best part about watching a movie and a series is a theory. And I hope to see y'all over there.
And of course, we know we're going to see you over there, because that's the only way you're going to see part 2, so you can find out not just why we think that Secret Wars is the best way to bring the X-Men and the Fantastic Four into the MCU, but how we plan to implement that if we could have it our way. So, first things first, let us know what you think about our theory on the theory of getting these characters into the MCU. Sound off in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, Hulk smash that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers, and tap that bell so you know when I post up. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully we'll see y'all next time in part 2 over on Alternative Factuals. Plus Ultra.